Shows you a little, for us, we're on a little speck in a long story, you know.
And you all to come for this little ceremony to recognise what is the birthplace of Lincoln City Football Club. It wasn't in a shoe shop though, it was in a pub, as all good ideas are created. I am nervous today, but not about this. I'm nervous that we're playing a team who haven't scored for 9 games. But that's old Lincoln, we're new Lincoln now, so I think we're going to be all right. Right, some introductions. Obviously, here, this gentleman here is the Mayor, Councillor Biff Bean. He's Councillor for Hartsholme Ward, doing an amazing job as Mayor. He's got to be the busiest one there's ever been, and that's no disrespect to any of the others. This young lady is Julie Thomas. She's the manager of the shop, Mashulu, the shop, and we thank her for all her input in this little project. Somebody else I want to mention is Glenn. Where's Glenn? He's stood there with his shopping. Glenn Chambers, Lincoln City fan, who sourced all this, including, you've got a flyer there, there's a photograph of the Monson Arms, the original place where Lincoln City were formed, and that Glenn started all this as a Lincoln City fan. So a lot of things with the football club were started by the fans, and this one certainly was. And thank you to Glenn for that. We've got Brian and Pablo. Is this... That, ladies and gentlemen, is the new striker we've signed. Heading off to the game. We've got... Quick. But in terms of why we're here today, and the home of Lincoln City, I think it's probably best that I read out of 2 books. Brian Holford's, some of you may have seen this one, Past Imperfect. Talking of eccentric and quirky and funny, that's his off-the-wall history of Lincoln. And a more straightforward one, Donald's here as co-author. Fantastic, everybody calls it the Bible of Lincoln City. I've got a couple of extracts that refer to what we're all about today. So, first of all, from Past Imperfect, I'll read, it's called Coming Together. Momentous things occur in pubs, important decisions are taken, historic events set in motion, far-reaching plots are hatched, people fall in love, sometimes at first sight. Inspiration blossoms. Nikolai Gogol wrote the best bits of Dead Souls in a smoky bar. Not someone I'm familiar with, but anyway. But perhaps the most significant event ever to unfold inside a public house occurred in the Monson Arms High Street, Lincoln, in 1884. On July the 5th, 1984, a warm, musty evening, inside that tavern, the air thick with excitement, beer fumes and cigar smoke, into existence sprang Lincoln City Football Club. Footballs have been kicked around in Lincoln, like the rest of England, with increasing vigour for several decades. Established in public schools in the middle of the century, the sport quickly spread as pupils left those schools, only to find, as they matured, that they still harboured the desire to send in 25-yard rip-roaring snorters or dismantle wingers' tackles with wild and free sliding tackles. During autumn 1883, Lincoln was dominated by the talk of creating one senior football club to represent the city. A big majority of football enthusiasts were in favour, but the 2 most important clubs differed. Lincoln Lindham, based at the Rugby Road ground, on which sport is still played today, didn't like the way football was going. They wanted to stay casual and amateur, but Lincoln Rovers, from their much less well-equipped London Road home, were much more in tune with the popular view. That was, let's build the best team we can to bring the County Cup to Lincoln. That mission triggered the meeting at the Monson Arms. As a humid night enveloped the pub, much ale was sunk. Lincoln Rovers disbanded, and into life, all new and shiny and full of hope, burst Lincoln City. The principal driving forces were local businessmen William Mortimer, Sharpley Bainbridge and John Henry Strawson, named on the plaque. The 3 men bound together the rampant interest in this exciting new sport and translated it into Lincoln City Football Club. Football was snowballing, though not without opposition. Plenty of brawls, assaults and arrests stemmed from ill-controlled matches, and many clergymen despised a pastime which drew aggression from participants and spectators. So obviously some things never change. And so it took place that on Saturday, October the 4th, 1884, Lincoln City took the field for the first time. Sleaford Town visited John O'Gaunt's, and after the game kicked off 20 minutes late, were beaten 9-1. George Hallam scored City's first ever goal and went on to complete the first hat-trick. City's players wore beautiful red velvet caps crowned with big golden tassels, and a shot from City right winger Clement Newsom broke the crossbar. And just moving on to Donald and Ian Nanastad's book, their history is unbelievably thorough. So I've only got 12 pages to read here, only joking. I'll just show you this little bit. Sharpley Bainbridge and William Mortimer called a meeting at the Monson Arms Hotel. This is the little advert that was in the Lincoln Chronicle at the time. All interested in football, with football in capitals for some reason, obviously a very important subject, are invited to attend a meeting on Thursday evening, June the 26th at 8 o'clock in the large room at the Monson Arms Hotel, this place here. So that's a bit of a history from the people who know the history of Lincoln City. I'd just like to hand over now to Biff. He's going to say a few words. The idea was to have a curtain so he could pull a cord, but my son was 20 minutes each hole with a diamond drill, and when I said to him, can I now have some holes to put a curtain up, he said sod off, basically. So it's there exposed for you now, and we'll just get Biff to say a few words about it.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. It's going to be hard to follow that. Thank you, everybody, for inviting me down today. There's nowhere else I would rather be than here this morning for this historic event. I want to start by thanking Rob Bradley and Glenn Chambers for taking the time to research the story of how Lincoln City was formed. It's hard to imagine that 140 years nearly ago, right here, our club's history started. I want to also thank the Red Imps Community Trust for the work it does in constantly reminding us about the club's history. The Trust is a remarkable organisation that has made a profound impact on this community in ways that extend far beyond the boundaries of a football pitch. The Trust is an embodiment of the power of the community spirit and the positive influence that a sports club can have on the lives of people. The Trust represents how a football club can transcend its role as an entertainment provider and become a force for good in the lives of its supporters. The Trust is not just about winning games, it's about winning hearts and transforming lives. Through their dedication to social inclusion, education, health and the environment, they have proven that a football club can be a driving force for positive change in this community. They inspire us to believe that sports can be a powerful tool for unity, growth and upliftment, and their impact extends far beyond the football pitch, like I said. The Red Imps Community Trust stands as a great example of how a community can come together with a shared passion for a sport to make Lincoln a better place to live and work. The plaque is now open for everyone to see and enjoy. Thank you.
Well done. And that concludes everything, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I think we'd like to take a series of photos.
Fantastic. Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, we're all looking straight towards me. Fantastic. Brilliant. Then, anyone else wants to jump in, please feel free. Then we are. That's it. We're looking straight. That's great. Just looking straight towards where you are. Lovely stuff.